Hey there, Algebra Hap. Lesson 79 says we're going to simplify notations that are just a bit more difficult than what we've been doing in the past. A couple things to introduce this for us. If I have some grouping symbols and negative signs like negative, bracket, negative, parenthesis, negative, 3, parenthesis, bracket, how many negative signs do I have? And how does that help me know what the final sign is? Right, so this all comes down to a 3. Is it positive or negative? There's 3 negative signs. Odd number of negatives means negative. See, negatives match up to cancel each other out, and 2 wrongs make a right, so to speak, leaving me 1 left over, whereas if I had 1, 2, 3, 4 negatives, that's an even number. Therefore, positive 4, and then this would all need grouping signs like we've learned. That's our first reminder. Even number of negatives means positive. Positive number of negatives is negative. Odd number of negatives is negative. And we don't have to show plus signs always, but sometimes we do. And then in a way, everything is addition. You know, if I put a 3 here and it was minus all of this, that's still considered addition. If you were to think of it, 3 plus negative, negative, negative 3. It's called algebraic addition, right? Remember that? That anytime I'm combining, really is the word I like to think of this, is combining things, not multiply or divide. It's adding. Combining and adding are the same thing, even if I'm adding something that's less than 0. So if I have 2 minus 4, if understood algebraically, that is addition. If I look at it as 2 combined with a negative 4. Okay, I want you to remember that. Let's take a look at what we've got then. Get rid of this. I'm looking at page 249. We have an expression like opposite of 4 plus 2 opposite of 5 and opposite of 7. Think of it as combining all these pieces together to equal a final product. So think of this as addition, addition, and addition, whereas this is a piece, this is a piece, and you see what I'm doing. So there's always a plus sign between every piece. Then it's a simple matter of thinking on a number line. If this is 0, I'm at a negative 4. I add 2. I add a negative 5. And then I add another negative 7, leaving me a final answer of negative 14 if I did that right. You can always double check with a calculator. The book wants us to be able to do that. It's a more difficult notation understood algebraically. If we had negative positive 4 combined with negative, negative 5 plus 5 minus negative 3, hold in there for me, and in parentheses negative 6. This is what they're calling a more difficult notation. If you were to write it out, and I don't know if you will, but if you take the problem in the book and put it on your paper just as it's written, don't make a mistake, and then you actually draw circles around your pieces like this, like the book shows. I go like this, and then I add it to a negative 5, and then this is the part I really don't see you doing, but putting a plus positive 5 plus minus a negative 3 and plus positive negative 6, and I combine them all this way where it's all being just combined, and we think of it on a number line, you end up with a positive 3. Look at 79.3, where I have this, this, and then this guy is interesting. Let me get rid of my big 3 here. They got a negative bracket, negative parenthesis, negative 6, I think, right? Okay, so if I think of this all as addition, where I'm putting this, I think at the end, that's where it starts to really become useful to look at all of this as a piece. And we go left to right because it's all the same order of operation, add, subtract. Now I simplify. This is really 4 because I have an even number of negatives. This is an odd number of negatives, so it's still a negative 2. This is an even or odd number of negatives. These match up, and I'm left with this negative 6. I'm combining these 3 pieces to finally equal negative 4. Take a look at the practice. I want you to try A and D. D, you got a lot of those grouping symbols, so really I would just write, is it negative or positive in the end, and then write an addition sign between all of those pieces separately, so you keep it all straight, using that concept of opposites and algebraic addition, which involves plus signs instead of just basic second grade 2 minus 1, understanding one more time that that's really a positive 2 plus the opposite of 1 being 1. Okay? Good luck.